Welcome to Women Can Too. Women all over the world have the ideas, the passion, the knowledge, and the power. All they need now is the opportunity to prove that they can succeed in male-dominated industries. My podcast, a podcast for us, creates a safe space to tell stories, discuss topics, and break down the barriers and stereotypes that are holding women back from their full potential. We hope to inspire more women to chase their professional dreams and have the courage to dream and then make it a reality. Welcome everyone to my very first podcast. Woohoo! I'm so excited to share this platform with all of you and hope it will help to educate you, inspire you, guide you, or maybe even be the kick that you need to believe in yourself and shoot for the stars in your desired profession. Change needs to happen, and we can all do it together. On today's episode, Creating Girl Bosses, we have a very special guest who I've known for a few years now. He has been a Weber State professor for 31 years in areas including negotiations, customer service, and implementing the sales cycle. He is also the owner of Self-Management Systems, specializing in sales and leadership training consultancy. He is a sports lover, all in capital letters, and I'm so proud to say he is a mentor of mine and he has helped me tremendously. Welcome, Border. How are you?
Good, Lara. Thanks for having me today.
No worries. Now, I know you've been at Weber State for 31 years in professional sales. What interested you in pursuing sales and wanting to go on and teach sales as your profession?
31 years. I don't know if I've ever sat down and looked at that number. But now I feel old.
No, don't feel old.
I think what motivated me was I had early success in sales. And every time I would succeed with an organization, they would have me try to teach the new up-and-coming sales reps. And so as I progressed in businesses, I'll give you an example. I remember when I was about your age, I was selling water treatment systems. And I started doing really, really well, like 40 a month. And they said, oh my gosh, you need to be teaching our sales reps how to do this. And so as I succeeded, they would have me turn around and train and teach and even lead. And I think it was just a progressive realization that I ended up here at Weber State doing the same.
And guess what? I'm glad you did.
And I am too. To have students like you is an amazing treat from people like me, because I know how far you're going to go.
I appreciate it. Now, what do you believe are the stereotypes in sales specific to women?
I think that's a good question, because I would hope to see it changing. But in the past, I'll speak to the past. In the past, I think women were perceived as a little bit more, I don't want to say passive, but men have always been a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more assertive. And sales has had an element of that. And so I think some people felt like women aren't strong enough to go in and close the sale and direct things in a persuasive way. And that is changing. But in the past, I think that's been the stereotype, that women are a little softer and men are a little bit more aggressive. And in today's selling, it's more about consultative. It's more now about understanding people.
Relationship building.
Exactly. So now that it's not this hard close and get in and negotiate and win, I think today the world of sales is becoming much more open to an approach that is more consultative relationship and more understanding, where it's not about manipulation.
I was going to say that's exactly, why I was kind of hesitant to go into professional sales in the first place. I was like, I don't want to be a sleazy salesman. Like, I don't want to pressure people. And I think that's the whole misconception of sales. But I really think that, things are changing, and Weber State has definitely made an imprint on that.
Exactly. I think throughout history, in the beginning of sales, where people really started moving into early traders, and people started traveling around and selling their goods. And there became that buyer beware, because this is where people started getting manipulative, and they started lying and deceiving. And so sales has always had just a little bit of a tainted image because of that. And certainly there's still people to this day that are in that world of manipulation and pushing people and trying to manipulate. But I think we're moving into a different era of selling, and it certainly embraces women and their skill sets.
And how do you think Weber State's doing that change, helping that change?
I think we're leading in that change. I think we have a department that incorporates women professionals that have been in the world of sales that are now in our department. But I see that stereotype changing, especially because Weber State's emphasizing that it's all about understanding people's needs, listening at a deeper level, and then trying to meet those needs with a solution. And that's not hardcore closing. That's not manipulation, being pushy. That's not being bold and aggressive. That's being much more consultative in relationship.
And what's kind of good as well is that's not just something that women can do as well. It's also that aggressive thing is kind of being taken out completely, so that males are also having to know how to relationship build. It's not just males and females do two separate things. It's one whole thing combined. So
I don't want to confuse that though with competitive, because I think women are competitive, and I think they enjoy going out and improving and reaching a level of success. So I do think that being pushy and being aggressive aren't really that's not competitive. That's almost like a bully. It's like somebody who is approaching it in the wrong way.
Now, how do you think Weber State or other institutions are actively recruiting women to professional sales?
I think one of the things that Weber State does is it moves into the high school level, and it connects with some concurrent enrollment professors where we have the opportunity to go into a classroom and share our stories of how women are succeeding and rising above the competitions with DECA levels in high school, and then bring them into the collegiate DECA levels. And you've experienced some of that. Once you get a little bit a taste of success in a competition, it's easily transferable into a professional realm. So those are just a couple things. I think we are trying to have some workshops and seminars that are being led by women in the workplace today, and trying to just incorporate more of that presence and help them see that bigger picture.
Now, I know that Whitney Border Street is your very successful daughter, who I was very lucky enough to meet. I want to explore more about her journey and how you played an integral part in her journey through sales. Can you tell us how she came into the field, and why you encourage your daughter to enter a field that is known to be male-dominated?
Well, that makes me laugh, because as I look back at Whitney, she was at a university down south, kind of fluttering around. That's a good way to put it. She was kind of dipping her toe into the water of different things like English or teaching, and she was accumulating many, many credits, but she wasn't really focused on completing a program. So she took a break from school, and I encouraged her to come back to Weber State, and we would incorporate some of those credits that she was getting from other degrees into ours that would supplement our degree here. And she thought that was a good idea, because it would capitalize on some of those credits that she thought were going to be gone. And what she found was that she had a unique ability in connecting with people and building relationships, and she liked that about the professional sales. And so she interned with a big company out of Salt Lake, and was recruited by another, and she started realizing she has something that people want. And today she's very successful with a company that she works at and leads and trains and teaches other sales reps now. So she's kind of doing her thing, her best thing.
And what company did she work for? Because I know when she had a conference here at school that I actually listened to, I know that there was 2 companies that were actually competing for it, which is, that's definitely what you want. But what is she doing right now in her company?
Well, she started with Wyndham, and then she moved to Go Engineer, was heavily recruited by Zions Bank, left to go to Zions Bank, and then was recruited back to Go Engineer. So they wanted her, and she came back because she realized she enjoyed the type of sales that Go Engineer offered more than what she was doing at Zions.
And what was the conversations that you had when she was finding that success? What type of, conversations were you having in regards to sales and things like that? Did she ever ask for advice?
Oh, she did. She'd call from time to time and say, I'm struggling with motivating a certain type of person who's really not motivated by money, or some people are just a little bit lazy, and the list goes on and on. So every now and then she'd ask for advice, but it was fun to watch her start realizing what it took to help people dial in and be effective in what they do. But Whitney is an example of how women are thriving in the industry. In that male-dominated industry, where now they're being recruited because they have these gifts that can build relationships, that can listen and understand to certain needs that people have, and then match a solution. And I feel like that is much more the world of professional sales today. I call it the consultative level of selling, as opposed to that sleazy sales rep where manipulation and transactional is phasing out. Women don't want that anyway. They don't like to go in and push people around and manipulate. They would rather say, how can I best help you? What are your needs? And let's make that happen. And I think that's why there's such a need today for those skill sets.
Yeah, speaking on that, have you seen a change in male to female ratio of students in professional sales between 2015 to 2023? Has it increased, and if so, why?
It has increased, but not as fast as I want to see it increase. We're still male dominated. Here at Weber State University, the ratios are probably 75-25. And that's not enough. I think we should be closer to 50-50. But as things start to transition more into a world of consultative selling, relationship selling, I think we'll start to see a trend upward with women entering the world of professional sales.
Completely agree. Do you think it is powerful to have female staff and professors to become role models for future female students?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love to see it. One of my mentors, Desiree Larson Cooper, she's the one that really helped me become successful here at Weber State University as a professor. She recruited me out of industry, and she was my example of a master negotiator. I was so impressed with who she was, but I also watched how she was able to bring other women into the industry like Nicole Flink and Mikkel and mentor those people who are now mentoring people like you are. And I love to see that. So Professor Nicole Flink, who was successful in medical device selling, is now encouraging you to do something very similar. And I love to watch that relationship and watch her mentor people like you.
That was amazing. And especially since she was my very first professor, it was super nice to have a female role model. And I think, having male and female together, I think it's, should be integrated more, because we both have, different ideas, different
talents,
everything. And it all needs to be together rather than separated.
I love watching your gifts. You have many gifts, and you'll be able to incorporate those. Your ability to organize, your ability to go above and beyond the status quo. Those are traits that competitive nature that you have are going to serve you well in the world of professional sales.
I appreciate it. Tim, now we can have some fun. Rapid fire questions. Give me one piece of advice to give females who are thinking about entering male-dominated industries.
Don't think twice about it. The industry is changing, and you have a great place in here, and know that you can be just as successful or more successful than any of the men in the industry.
One thing you told Whitney, your daughter, she would learn from professional sales.
She would learn how to listen and understand people's needs. She would learn how to help them solve their problems and help them reach their goals. And that would be very satisfying.
Would you still recommend her to follow a male-dominated industry now despite her success?
Absolutely. And it's fun to watch her actually exceed the men in her industry and be just as successful and relevant.
And that's how you created a girl boss. Now give me one piece of advice you would give to help inspire women.
Bring your gifts. Understand some of those unique abilities that you have and bring them into the industry. We need them, and there's a place for them. And so know that the industry is changing. It's embracing those gifts that women have, and it's putting them to great use.
Now, is there anything else you would like to mention or add before we finish up?
No, I just appreciate you, Laura. Take that next step into the world of inspiring women to do some amazing thing, to create the girl bosses of the world today, and to let them know that they have a place in the world of professional sales.
Thank you, Border. I appreciate it, and thank you again for being an amazing professor and mentor.
Well, thank you.
With that being said, I want to thank you, Tim, for being my very first guest on Women Can Too. We've all loved having you and hearing your insights. Something for you all to think about for the next episode is how you can help inspire those women around you to trust their ability to succeed. Thanks for listening, and remember, women can too. Until next time, be safe and keep on smiling.